happy little mouth.
Well, all kind of an adventure walk today. I'll put you underneath this rock so you keep from getting wet. God, it's so busy out this morning. Can't find a place to do a video. What this morning I wanted to talk about was I had a discussion with a guy, and it's one of those discussions where you just wanted to scream and yell and all that, but you just couldn't do it that way because you'd get nowhere. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, is that discussion about business and how anything goes in his mind when it goes to making money. It's getting a little bit more windy and stormy, especially up ahead. The higher we go, the stormier it's going to get. But anyway, somehow the discussion went from tech over to investments, and how he was so happy that Trump was in office because there were so many new business opportunities opening up. I asked him what was the opportunities he was going to take advantage of, and he said that he was going to heavily invest in coal and mining of coal and transport of coal was his thing. He said if Trump gets in for 8 years, which he probably will, well, he probably is, one way or another. They always do. The rotten always, oh God. Anyway, when he told me that, at that moment, all I wanted to do was just scream, just let him have it, and I said, I just sat there kind of with my mouth open and just trying to. So I just sat there sort of with my mouth open for a few minutes, not a few minutes, maybe a minute, just speechless, because I just wanted to let him have it. But I said, you can let him have it, but in a nice way and in a more intelligent way, so you're not just screaming at each other. So I thought I would approach it in his speech. So I said, well, what does your portfolio look like in energy? Do you have so much in fossil fuels and so much in renewables and maybe so much in wind and that sort of thing? And he said, oh no, I'm purely just a fossil fuel man myself for the next 8 years. Well, man, that just. And then he looked at me and said, I never even thought of investing in renewables. So I told him, well, there's not nearly as much money in it as there is in fossil fuels, but at least you'll live. You can at least live for a lot longer if we were to get rid of fossil fuels and go into renewables. It's something we have to do if we're to survive, much past 4 or 5 years. And he laughed and he said, that was just nonsense, and he didn't believe any of that. And he doesn't believe in climate change, and because he doesn't believe in climate change, nothing's wrong with investing heavily in fossil fuels. Boy. So right there I knew it was time to change the subject and move along, which I did, and we moved to a different subject. No screaming or yelling, nothing like that. I felt much better. And he had never thought of investing in renewables, so maybe he will. Maybe he'll change or something, but I'll tell you what, it sure made a difference on how I thought about him as a friend. It really irritates me that people are that ignorant. Getting really windy now. A little bit of mist and drizzle up the umbrella pretty soon. As we talked, I sort of came back to the whole issue of business again, and I asked him, is there any business opportunity you wouldn't take for morality reasons? He said that he understood where I'm coming from, and but he had to tell it like it was, and that business is business and it is separate from anything else. He says if you can get a business opportunity, it doesn't matter. And I said, what about morality? He said there's no such thing in business. Okay, We had to bring the umbrella up. We're getting closer and closer to the storm, or at least the top of the hill where the storm is just raging. The winds are getting really bad, so if there's some wind noise, that's what's going on. I'm trying to shed it with the umbrella, but it may be still getting some wind. So, what umbrella am I using? Well, this is the Gust Buster, a little tiny one. It's just good for trail walking and that sort of thing, and wind conditions such as today. The wind actually goes up and out these little holes throughout the umbrella, and the wind has almost no effect on it. The only thing you really feel is the downward wind. It doesn't release that pressure, but it releases the upward pressure. This isn't a endorsement for this umbrella company. It's just some people keep asking me what umbrella I'm using. So that's what I'm using, and yes, I like it. It's a little cheap compared to the older ones, but we'll see if it lasts a couple years. Supposedly it's a lifetime warranty kind of thing, but this thing's too cheap to last a lifetime. Not in California weather. Okay, we're at the top, or just below the summit. To do the video, I wanted to do it down here because it's a little less windy. We just had a gust that just ripped through here. And of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, the gust goes away and it calms down to a slow roar. Now I'll go up a little bit higher here and maybe another gust will come in. But you'll be amazed how these trees, here we go. You can hear it. Yeah, there it is. Well, that was lame. Well, maybe it's gonna make a liar out of me. I can see it ripping around all around me, but over top it's not doing much at this time. All right, we're at the top. It's been very windy, very gusty, on and off rains. So I pressed this guy on one more issue, and that was if you were in charge of a healthcare organization or company, a for-profit company, and if you were to take 10,000 people off of coverage and give you a bonus, would you do it? And he said, again, business is business. You're damn right I'd do it. So my thoughts are, what is your thoughts? That doesn't make any sense. So what's your thoughts on this? And leave it down in the comments bar. And I appreciate all the comments on the last videos. We're getting some good ones. A lot of good thinking. A lot of good new commenters. A lot of good old commenters. So I guess we'll go back down now. Tomorrow's supposed to be one of the biggest storms that California's seen in up to 7 years. When the Pacific storms wind up and come in at full volume, you don't mess with them. The last place you'd want to be is out in the ocean in one of these. So, I appreciate all the ups and the downs and the new subscribers, and until next time.